We are jumping back into the NFL week with Thursday Night Football. Some pretty good stuff here. This game has changed a lot in just the past 24 hours. I believe this opened up at 3.5 early in the week before it moved to 7.5 yesterday when the books were probably sensing that Purdy wasn't going to play. However, then Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, and Juwan Jennings have all been ruled out, moving this to 8.5 for the Rams. And I was finding myself yesterday. I was like, I get that the Niners are reeling a bit and the Rams look good, but I was like, 7 points as a touchdown underdog just didn't seem correct. Well, it was because the team is missing basically everybody. Total has dropped 2 points from 46.5 down to 44.5. 49ers have a great passing defense, which is ranked 6th for yards, but pretty middle of the pack rushing defense, ranked 17th. There are only 4 teams, Chargers, Broncos, Seahawks, and Texans, that have allowed fewer TDs than both of these teams, who are sitting at 8 touchdowns allowed on the season. And frankly, the 49ers really can't afford to phone this one in. I wouldn't expect them to, but it kind of has that feeling of a do we even have a shot game? But this is a competitive division, and they have to at least try, or else this is going to get away from them. They'll be 3-2, and the Seahawks have a chance to go 4-1, and it's going to be outside looking in a bit for the 49ers in this scenario. So bring up our game predictions here as we talk through this. You see our predicted final score, 26-19 in favor of the Rams. So we do like the 49ers to cover here. 56% against 8.5. Over under. We like the over at 4. Oh, it's actually got 3 points now, at least at DraftKings. So that's favorable if you think these teams are still going to put in the work. And on the money line, pretty strong favorite here for the Rams, unsurprisingly. If we go into our best bets, you see basically zero value on the over. We're totally in line with the books there. Some value on the Niners as an underdog, but the best bet is on the Niners 8.5 at 55.8% probability and a 3.4% edge at odds of -110. So from a betting perspective, I do like this Niners to cover. I would have preferred it if it could have dropped to 10.5 maybe, but I don't think we're likely to see that with a team that still has CMC. I think they're still going to be competitive. They should still put up the points. They moved the ball with Mac Jones before. Granted, they had Ricky Pearsall in those games, but short week, divisional game, always gets a little wacky. I think the under is probably more likely in play, but at the same time, these defenses have shown vulnerabilities. You know, the Rams let the Eagles get the passing game going, and the 49ers let the Jaguars take them to town. So it's going to be an interesting clash. I think I am on the 49ers here with the 8.5. So I'll probably have that in my card among some prop value, which we'll be digging into pretty shortly.
I am very surprised this number is 8.5. And I was looking this up just because, I had a gut feel. I love the Rams. I think they're very good. I love Matt Stafford, obviously. He's one of my favorite players to watch ever. And I hate betting against him. But I was looking into this matchup, thinking back the last couple of years. Obviously, both these franchises have been very good. Both have made Super Bowl runs. I feel like these are close games consistently. Like the amount of times one of these two franchises has won by 10 or more just does not, I don't know, recall in my mind. And I looked this up. Kyle Shanahan has been the head coach in San Francisco since 2017. He has coached 17 games against the Los Angeles Rams in that span. And they are 15-2 if you just take the 8.5 point spread and use that as the spread every time. He's covered 8.5, 15 of 17 times, 13 straight times. The 49ers have lost by less than 8.5. So look, the Niners have probably been one of the best franchises in football in that stretch. I would argue the Rams have too. The difference for me is just, you're right. It's short rest week. it's one of those spots where even if you think the Rams are sizably better, there's just like a wonky feel to a divisional rivalry game where the Niners have a lot on the line. So my gut really wanted to play San Francisco here, and this is one of those spots where if the model shows even a little bit of value, I can find a way to talk myself into the matchup history mattering here. So Niners plus the points is on my card in this game for sure.
Yeah, I like that. That's a really good trend to pull up. I think that shows how much these coaches are built to contend with one another. The Niners probably have started 6 quarterbacks in that span of 15 games, so it seems like it doesn't really matter who's under center. They probably didn't have Christian McCaffrey for several of those as well, just based on how much time he's missed over the past year. So yeah, I think that's a really good data point to back this up, and makes me even more confident about riding with the model in this. Let's shift to some player prop stuff. A bunch of betting angles to touch on in this game. And I think the biggest one is this game is Christian McCaffrey and friends. It's basically his offense tonight. Everyone's out for the 49ers. They won their first 2 games with Mac Jones, but they did have Ricky Pearsall in those, as I said, and he's been the top receiver for this team. But you go down here, you want to look at the prop stuff for Christian McCaffrey and how these wide receivers are shaking out. It's a pretty brutal looking roster. Christian McCaffrey is the leading receiver of everybody who's in this game. He's actually only like 20 yards behind Ricky Pearsall for the leading receiver on this entire team, which is pretty bananas. He's got 225 rushing yards as well. He is just the engine that is moving this offense so far this season. We do project him for, 53 receiving yards and 66 rushing yards. So over 100 yards, total yards. I'm pretty sure there's 2+ touchdown value on him the last time I checked. If I go over here and open up our prop bets right there, 17.7% plus 600. I want to say that's fair odds of around 480. So you're getting an edge on McCaffrey to pick up a 2-piece, which he hasn't done yet this season. That would actually double his touchdown output on the year. But I really just don't see how else anybody is going to be moving this ball. It's a really uninspiring receiving room. And honestly, I think that can take us right into our next betting angle, which is who on earth will even be the 49ers top receiver in this game. This wide receiver room is Kendrick Bourne, Demarcus Robinson, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who I will talk about a bit, but you can't even find lines for MVS on the books. They just do not want to touch this. They don't want you to touch it. This, I think, would be the worst wide receiver room in the NFL if it was a team's 3 wide receivers. It's probably going to be rough as far as production from these guys. I don't think that means the Niners can't move the ball, but with the way CMC is dominating receiving work, I don't know if it has to be one of these guys to even show up. McCorkle's look pretty good. 4-to-1 TD to INT ratio through his 2 starts, 270 yards in both, pair of wins. They were some gritty wins versus the Cardinals and the Saints, and this is a much harder team here. So, you got 45 receiving yards for Bourne, 36 projected receiving yards for Robinson, and then Jake Tungus is our 3rd highest passing option outside of CMC here. Oh, look, you got Sky Moore here. Actually, when I was doing the show notes, we had Scantling. So, yeah, I'm even corrected here. Sky Moore is actually above. So, I don't even know if Scantling is going to get anything in this. So, that might tank my betting angle, but I'm still going to talk about it. Yeah, we're still gonna touch on that. But, yeah, it's not going to look good for Mac Jones, probably, if anything. But Christian McCaffrey should be an absolute workhorse unless this game gets away from them. And they just decide not to risk his health.
Yeah. If you look at the player projections on the site, Christian McCaffrey, the expected leading receiver in this game. So that probably says all you need to know. Now, he's obviously a great pass catching threat, but to me, back to the spread too, if we both buy that San Francisco is going to find a way to keep this within a possession, I think the game script is very much control clock, long sustained drives. I don't think you want Mac Jones airing it out 40 times in this game. And, you look through some of the props that show value on the site. Mac Jones under passing completions, Mac Jones under yardage, pass attempts are all there. I think very clearly San Fran's plan has to be a huge McCaffrey night. Maybe keep him in the 20s max from a pass attempts perspective. Don't get behind 2 scores where the game script dictates passing. So, yeah, for me, I would love to say there's like a receiver in this room that we should jump on and there's a reason to believe there's a big night coming. There's just not. And if they do get behind, it's probably going to still all filter through McCaffrey. So it's McCaffrey or bust for me 100% for the Niners.
Yeah, should be a good night if you got McCaffrey in your fantasy leagues. That is for sure. Next up, let's look at the receivers for the Rams, though we don't need to discuss the bleak outlook for them because they have one of the best duos in the league. But Puka Nacua, who has racked up over 118 total yards in all 3 games, over 100 receiving yards in all 4 games, over 100 receiving yards in 3 games, including a 170 and 130. Can he do it again on Thursday Night Football? Will he even have to? That's probably the biggest question. This Niners defense, as we said, is pretty good against the pass. I think they're only allowing about 165 passing yards per game. But their pass rush is hurting without Nick Bosa. It's suffered. It's given Stafford pretty much all the time in the world tonight. Puka's line is at 95.5, so it's really high, which is understandable. The guy is maybe the best receiver in the game this season. Even though the model projects him for 99, that's a really high number for me to get behind on any skill position player. It's just such a big yardage total, even for the best. It doesn't take a lot to take someone out of the game, and it could easily become a Devontae Adams game or a Kyren Williams, Blake Corum game if the Rams do manage to hold control of the scoring for most of it. I think Pua's definitely got some scoring upside, which we are going to talk about in our parlay. But I might temper my expectations for the Offensive Player of the Year favorite in this one as far as receiving is concerned, just given that we project him a little under his absolute mega nuke games that he's had this year. And again, if the Niners aren't competitive in this, there's no reason to risk your most precious player on offense.
Yeah. You would think it has to slow down for Puka at least a little bit. It's been such an insane start that, how long can any receiver possibly keep this up? I mentioned Stafford earlier. Obviously, I'm well familiar with him, but like the history this guy's had of making his primary target the best receiver in the league is unprecedented and insane. I mean, yes, Calvin Johnson was special decades ago, but like Cooper Kupp instantly becoming the world's best receiver for a couple of years and then falling off the face of the earth a few years later, now into what Puka has become. I really do believe Stafford is a huge part of why these guys look this good. I would just mention, not to debate our model here, it's a stay away for me. Nakua's played 3 games against the Niners. His first game ever against San Francisco was a game a couple of years ago where the Rams did not have Cooper Kupp. He had 20 targets and caught them in for 15 catches and 147 yards. So, it's the only time we've seen Nakua against this team without some of the other primary threats. Obviously, the Rams still have good pass catchers, but it's one of those spots. Fade at your own will. If the model shows a little bit of value, it's probably worth considering, but you're not going to feel good wanting to come into this game against Puka.
Yeah. Let's be clear. I'm not talking about fading Puka Nacua, just that I don't think I'm going to bet on him to tally over 100 yards on a Thursday night football game. And yeah, you said, how long can he keep it up? I was asked Cooper Kupp because that guy won the Triple Crown, or almost did that season. So,
right.
Yeah. And one more quick angle I want to touch on. A couple touchdown jackpots tonight between FanDuel and DraftKings. DraftKings is bringing back King of the End Zone, which, if you're not familiar, you bet on one guy to score an anytime touchdown. If he scores the longest of the game, you'll split the $2 million jackpot bonus with everyone who bet on that guy. There were some pretty crazy ones in the playoffs last year. I just published an article on dimers.com, which you can read, that has some insights regarding this promo. And then, of course, we have the FanDuel Thursday Night Football jackpot, which is the first or last touchdown. So last week we talked about Trey McBride on that. He did not get it. I played him on mine. I asked my wife to re-download FanDuel and play Amari DiMercado for $5, who hit. So she won herself $272 in bonus bets, and then proceeded to win a plus 3,000 hit on Sunday Night Football. So I may have gotten her hooked. We're going to try and find our own bonus bet winners tonight. Obviously, if you go with the popular guys, you're going to be splitting the pool with a lot more people. So my general feeling is to go for the longer shot, try to find someone who fits that profile. And I have one guy I particularly like, at least for the Thursday Night Football jackpot. King of the end zone, you probably just want to go with a guy with big play upside. I mean, Tutu Atwell scored an 80-yard touchdown last week. Pick someone like that, because I don't think you're going to see somebody beside, like, definitely not on the 49ers, I think, break a huge play. I think that's unlikely, especially if MVS doesn't play, who was something I was going to talk about here. But anyway, the 49ers have allowed just 2 rushing TDs and have a pretty elite red zone defense versus running backs. So I'm not really touching either running back for Thursday Night Football jackpot. But on the flip side, the 49ers have allowed almost 1 touchdown per game to tight ends and have the 30th ranked red zone defense versus the position. Tyler Higbee has not scored a touchdown yet and has only drawn 2 red zone targets. But the 49ers' stout defense in the red zone might push the Rams to pass in these situations, not give the ball to Kyren Williams and Blake Corum. That opens up Higbee, who's a big-bodied tight end, for a lot of opportunity. That's definitely who I'm going to play for my touchdown jackpot. I may ask my wife to play Blake Corum for me to get that second play. But other targets you might want to consider: Brian Robinson. If this game gets out of hand and CMC comes out, maybe the 49ers find themselves near the end and Brian Robinson sneaks in there. I can confirm that we have touchdown value on Brian Robinson in this game. And like I said, Blake Corum, another sneaky pick. Maybe vultures a touchdown from Kyren Williams in either the first quarter or at the end of the game. Gets yourself probably not a very popular play there.
They've gone to Corum a lot this year in weird spots, like end zone spots.
Yeah,
I don't
more
know
than
if
you'd
they're
like as a
trying to do
Kyren
that or
Williams
what.
guy.
What's that?
I said more than you would like as a Kyren Williams guy.
Yeah, like, it's kind of baffling because I don't view Corum as like a red zone guy. I know he had a lot of those touchdowns in college back in the day, but yeah, it's been interesting. So I like the Corum shout. I love the Higbee shout. Matchup wise, that one makes a ton of sense to me. So, all right, well, there you go. A couple different ways to play some of the best promos that are out there for Thursday Night Football. Thanks to Dave and the model for helping us get there. It is time to unveil our Thursday Night Football Same Game Parlay.
Thursday Night Lotto.
I love the Thursday Night Lotto, Dave. I'm ready for it. What we got?
Yeah, let's see. Pulling up here. Rams versus 49ers. Thursday Night Football Same Game Parlay. We're not going to talk too much about this as we've already hit on 2 of these guys, but Devontae Adams, 50-plus receiving yards. Christian McCaffrey, 50-plus receiving yards, not rushing. And Puka Nacua for an anytime touchdown. Devontae Adams is over in 4 of 4 this season, 8-plus targets in 3 games. He's knocked out long plays of 24, 33, 44, 25 yards in each successive game. Gives him chances to knock this out in big chunks. He's projected for over 61 yards, a nice healthy buffer over the mark we need. Christian McCaffrey, also over this in 4 out of 4 games. He has 70-plus receiving yards in 3 out of 4. As mentioned, he's the team's second leading receiver, just 22 yards behind Ricky Pearsall, projected for 54.0 on the dot tonight. And Puka Nacua for an anytime touchdown. He's got 2 touchdowns this season. He's our second most likely touchdown scorer in this game, for the Rams, and third most likely in this game at 41.6%. He's perfect for 3 catches on 3 targets in the red zone, converting one of those into a score. And like we said, if he wants to keep that offensive player of the year contention there, he's probably going to have to rack up a few touchdowns. You play this at DraftKings, you'll get it for plus 450. I'll probably play a boost on this and get it for a little better odds. And that's what we're looking at tonight on Thursday Night Football.
Love it. This one feels extremely reasonable. I mean, Puka's all over the end zone, and we've laid out the case for the others. But yeah, I love the buffer for Adams. 11 yards. That's
Mhm.
good, making me feel very nice. McCaffrey should get dump downs the entire game. I'm in. Add it to the card. Let's go.
Hell
Good
yeah.
mojo, baby.
We're very hungry because our Sunday night football parlay lost because Tucker Kraft didn't score by going down at the one twice. I mean, one of those times was like the goal line. Like you
Yeah.
heard the goal line. This was the goal line. So
They'd
we're
have the slow-mo. Yeah, they were like
yeah.
reviewing it for like 11 minutes. They're like, please, come on. It's killing me.
I
Oh,
had mixed
boy.
feelings because I badly needed a Josh Jacobs touchdown, and I don't even think it resulted in one on that. They just were not giving him the ball at the goal. False starts all around. So
Yeah,
we're
they went
hungry
right
for a
back
nice
to
day here.
Romeo Dobbs for the 17th time in the game, which, by the way, I hit. So you got to take some as you go.
We were
Okay,
happy to
thank
get
you,
that.
Dave. Let us know if you are tailing along with our primetime parlay tonight. We would love to hear from you. Hit us on social media. Jump in the Discord as well. We've got a great community over there that's constantly focused on finding value night to night. So check it out. Join it. We think you'll like it. If you like this show,